What's going on, everybody? Action figure expert here, and this here is a little rant video that I decided to put together because the new Iron Man 3 figures that just came out. I've never really been disappointed in Hasbro before until now. Hasbro is well known for their 3 3/4 inch figures, and the way they've evolved throughout the past 20-some years have just been phenomenal until now. Recently they released the Iron Man 3 figures, 3 3/4 inch figures, and I hate to say it, but I'm really disappointed with them. The way that they made the Iron Man 2 figures were superb. The Iron Man 2 figures were some of the best 3 3/4 inch figures that I've ever bought. Just about all the Iron Man 2 3 3/4 inch figures I definitely love. I've bought every one of them. You take a look at Iron Man 2 figures right here. They are so well detailed. The detail, the paint, the sculpting, the articulation, the whole craftsmanship of the Iron Man 2 series was really great. And it just irks me with what they've released for the Iron Man 3 toy line. They've dumbed down on the articulation, they've dumbed down on the detail, and it's not even subpar. It sort of took me off when they did right here. Take a look right here. It's the 3 Iron Man figures from the Avengers line. It took me off when they dumbed down on the articulation, but at least they kept the detail and the paint job of the Iron Man 2 style figures. You got this nice metallic paint job with a nice gold, and the detail and the look of them were up to par with the Iron Man 2 figures, and that I could live with. It sort of took me off that during Avengers they raised the average retail price to about $9.99, whereas in Iron Man 2 they went for about $7.99, averaged at about $8. But with what they released in Avengers for the Iron Man figures, I could live with, But then we come down to the Iron Man 3 stuff that's been released. Now, okay, when I heard about this whole assemblers thing, I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting, it's pretty cool. But when I found out that they're only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, technically only 5 points of articulation, I was like so totally pissed off. I'm like, I loved all the Iron Man 2 figures, and I just wanted to keep adding to what I call my Iron Man armory. In fact, if you've seen some of my videos, if you remember, if you know this Iron Man 2 Hall of Armor piece right here, I bought a ton of those right there, hoping that during Iron Man 3 that there would be a whole bunch of new armors and figures that I could add to my little Hall of Armor / Iron Man armory display. As if if you've ever seen my video of that. But I'm like, they've upped the price to retail about $10, $9.99 for figures that have even less than half the amount of articulation and nowhere near half the amount of detail as even the Avengers figures had. And I want to know what Hasbro is trying to think. Yeah, okay, I know that these are just toys and they're aimed towards kids. But you know what? are you trying to say that kids are stupid? No, not all kids are like that. Kids know what articulation and detail are, and yeah, I'm a collector, and believe it or not, even though collectors and kids can be different, collectors and kids can also be the same. And you know, kids aren't that stupid. They can tell the difference between what this figure is and what this figure is and what was released in the Iron Man 2 stuff. So I hate the fact that they're upping these to $10 and they are nowhere near as half as good as any of the previous 3 3/4 inch Iron Man stuff that came out. And you know, you didn't even really go into. I mean, look at this arm right here that's interchangeable with this Iron Man figure right here. They don't even give it detail onto parts of it that could have also been gold and stuff. You know, it's pretty pathetic that Hasbro's like dumbed down on all this stuff when it comes to the action figures. I mean, these things are called action figures. You want to get them in you know, action poses and actually be able to play with them. That's what kids want them for, to actually play with them. You really can't pose this thing that well. Hell, I don't even need both hands to pose this figure with. I can pose it with just one hand, which is really pathetic. And the very least you could have done with some of these assemblers was give them more detail to it. You know, give them their metallic paint jobs, or make their interchangeable parts at least you know, a little bit more colored. You know, on top of that, it's a cool concept. It's a cool gimmick, but no one's gonna want to mix match colors on Iron Man armors. Iron Man armors are usually pretty symmetrical in color. There's no Iron Man armors in the comic books where he's got a silver arm on one side and a red arm on the other. It's never been like that. I mean, like I said, I understand the concept, and you know, I sort of get it. You know, it's similar to like, well, of course, in the movie he mix matches parts from his armors and combines them together. Or, you know, it's similar to the Star Wars Build-A-Droid stuff. But overall, at the end of the day, the whole assemblers thing, it's not gonna sell. I hate to say it. And what else can I say? It's like, and then you give us these even more pathetic figures right here, which are these are the $5.99 figures, which they call the basic figures. And these are even worse than figures that came with vehicles. You know, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's only $5.88. Yeah, that's cool. It's, you know, it's not $10, but still, it's a piece of crap figure. And I want to know what Hasbro's product people are thinking. You know, I can understand that you decide to dumb down on a lot of stuff because Iron Man 2 stuff did not sell. I hate to say this, but believe it or not, Iron Man 2 stuff did sell. It's just that you, Hasbro, overproduced too much of some particular waves. And believe it or not, there's a lot of figures that actually sold pretty well, and it's the more unique looking figures, the more different looking figures, like these few particular figures that I got here. I mean, hell, you can't find any of these on the shelves anymore. It's just the more common figures that you release different ways and different packagings that have sat around for like the Mark III and the Mark II. You know, because you release them in some multi-packs, or you release them as an exclusive with these Hall of Armors right here. And yeah, believe it or not, the Iron Man 2 figures, like I said, were really well done. And anyway, this is just a rant, and I'm hoping someone from Hasbro hears this, because the Iron Man 3 3 3/4 inch figures, they're just not going to sell. Yeah, I wish I worked for Hasbro. I have an inkling of always telling what's going to be able to sell and what's going to be a peg warmer. You know, and I'm like, these 3 3/4 inch Iron Man figures are going to be peg warmers. They're going to sit around until the holidays. Yeah, a few might sell here and there, but no matter what the production amount was of these Iron Man 3 figures, they're going to sit around more than the Iron Man 2 figures did. And that's just pitiful, you know? In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna keep these figures. I might just return them. I mean, granted, I opened this one already, but I mean, these other two, I just don't know. And believe it or not, in the past, I've never really had anything bad to say about Hasbro until now. And for God's sakes, it's supposed to be evolving from good to better to better to best, and instead you're de-evolving. You're going back. You're dumbing down on the articulation and the detail, and you're giving us crap that costs more. I don't understand the logic in that. There's no reason for that at all. And anyway, it's just pisses me off that you know, my favorite Marvel character that's had so much attention through Hasbro like this has to get dumbed down and lose its touch from what it had a few years ago. Anyway, just a little rant video I decided to put together. If you agree with me, make a video response to this. Comment on my video. Make a video of your own, you know, to say something about these new Iron Man 3 figures that are pretty pathetic. And you know, let's hope that someone's listening. You know, it's times like this I really wish I worked for Hasbro. You know, I can tell what's gonna sell and what's not gonna sell, and I'm sorry, but these Iron Man 3 figures are just not gonna sell. So yeah, that's just a little thing I wanted to say out there. So, Action Figure Expert signing out. Peace.